This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Buying pants shouldn't take this much effort. Too many options, inconsistent sizing, and styles that don't work across your day. You want something comfortable, sharp, and reliable without guessing, returning, or buying 5 different pairs. That's why there's Jack Archer.
Ah, yes. JackArcher.com simplifies everything with the Jet Setter Tech Pant. One versatile pair designed to take you from work to weekend without missing a beat. Easy to wear, easy to style, and easy to shop for. The Jet Setter Tech Pant is wrinkle-free, stain-resistant, and built for all-day comfort. They stretch, breathe, and hold their shape, giving you a consistent fit and polished look every time. Backed by thousands of 5-star reviews, they're the dependable pants you'll reach for daily.
Jack Archer, ready when you are. For a limited time, get 15% off your first order with code GETJACK at jackarcher.com. Again, that's promo code GETJACK at jackarcher.com for 15% off your first order.
It's almost President's Day, and this year I've got a winning strategy for saving big. I'm skipping the phony sales and instead scoring everyday low prices on my favorite pieces from Bob's Discount Furniture. When I shop Bob's, I get more of what I love. More style, more storage, more comfort, more choices, even more years on that precious mattress warranty. All for a fraction of the cost of what you pay at other stores. So this President's Day weekend, stop in or shop online and see how much more you can save when you dare to compare at Bob's.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me, I called ART.
Traffic. There are no major problems, but be aware of construction on I-135 northbound at Kellogg. The ramp to go westbound is closed. From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, that's your Odyssey Wichita traffic.
Weather. Sunny, breezy, and a bit cooler today, but a high of 60 keeps us well above normal. Northeast winds 10 to 20 and gusty. Increasing clouds and 32 tonight. Back over to mainly sunny skies, breezy on Saturday, a high of 57. We're in the upper 60s on Sunday with sunshine. Monday, sunny and 72. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
The Wildcats.
3 wide open again, and it's perfect again.
Hit the court.
To the rim, layup good.
Right here.
Yeah. How about these Cats?
Be here every game as the Wildcats pounce the hardwood all season long. On your home for Kansas State Wildcat basketball.
K-State on the road at TCU. Live coverage of the Wildcats at noon Saturday. Right here on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Right now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
But the voters voted. I don't like the process of it. You have every right. If you don't want to vote Bill Belichick, you think he's a cheater, and I'm going to get my pound of flesh here. Okay. If you tell me that, there should be transparency with this. Just tell me. You did or you didn't.
The Dan Patrick Show. Middays from 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
The Jim Rome Show.
Denying Bill Belichick entry into the Pro Football Hall of Fame is neither petty nor funny. It's just idiotic. Belichick is not the big loser here. The losers are the 11 or more with a personal agenda who didn't vote him in. You didn't send him a message.
Jim Rome. Afternoons at 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH. Wichita's most listened to sports radio.
It's time to get back to the sports talk.
All right, let's do this thing. Go!
Sports Daily is on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. Glad to be here with you, Jacob Albracht, TJ Cleveland, on a Friday. A great Friday. Friday before the Super Bowl. Friday before we get some great weather. Glad to have it here. Glad to have you guys here with us as well. Thanks to Prairie Fire Coffee for keeping us fueled up on this Friday, helping us power over the finish line for things. All right, TJ. So the news yesterday, this story of Alabama and Charles Bediako trying to come back into college basketball has been floating out there for a while. Bediako, correct me if I'm wrong, has signed a two-way deal. Has he played in the NBA, TJ?
Not in the NBA, just the G League.
So he just had the two-way deal, but never made it up.
I don't even know if he's on a two-way deal. I don't even know if that's correct. The biggest story about this
he signed a two-way deal with the Spurs.
Okay, then sure. Then the biggest story about this one, though, that everybody's making the big argument about is, well, I guess there is the two-way argument about it, but never playing in the NBA. That's what, other guys have done as well. The big part about this one is the fact that he played in college, declared for the draft, didn't get drafted, and then came back to college. And that's the biggest part of this, is the fact of
on his side that he wasn't drafted.
All the other guys, no, not that. All the other guys didn't play college basketball before coming from the pros. All the other G League guys didn't play college basketball. Like Najee at Baylor that got drafted. He came from France, I believe, and he didn't play college basketball. He played at Alabama, said, I'm waiving the rest of my eligibility and I'm going pro. And then now saying, no, I'm going to come back. That eligibility I waived, I don't want to waive that anymore.
Different problem, same family of problems.
Yes.
We've got and so you've got a different situation then happening here. Greg Sankey yesterday, basically in an affidavit on a court ruling, and I guess this is the court ruling for Bediako, Sankey went against him. The NCAA trying to go against him. Sankey, we know, is maybe the biggest needle mover in college athletics. He said, I respectfully ask the court to uphold the NCAA eligibility rules challenged in this case, which are essential to the integrity of college sports, to the educational mission they serve, and to the opportunities they provide for current and future student athletes. I don't know that anybody's totally buying in on, the education and all that, because these guys are trying to be pro athletes. They're trying to get an education in that. But the future student athletes is the part, TJ, where I think that's the case you've got to make. Him doing this does hurt the future student athlete. Once you decide you're going, that's it. You've gone now. And to bounce back and forth is a can of worms that I don't even know that I'm fully ready to comprehend, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, like that I was talking to you about this in the office yesterday. It's such a slippery slope of where they are with this stuff, because, this is just the tip of the iceberg, basically. And if this can happen, then this is the example. I listened to the Reese Davis's College Game Day podcast, and they brought up the hypothetical of if this is okay to do, then every college basketball player at the end of every season should declare for the draft, regardless of if you are even a prospect. Just declare for the draft, see what happens, then just come back the next year, because it doesn't matter anymore. But that's been a thing for a few years. But then what happens if you're playing college basketball, you're playing really good in the non-conference, and the Lakers are like, well, he declared for the draft last year, he's free agent eligible, let's pick him up. Then it gets to the other side of this slippery slope as well. And then it gets to the point where, you can go poach somebody sitting on the Lakers bench. He had 40 last night, but he's not going to be a consistent, contributor. Bring him to Alabama. We'll play him.
Yeah, you can't have nice things. And this is, I suppose it's inevitable, right? You get to the point where we're starting to do some of the right things by the athletes, and then you get the chaos of the portal, and you get bad actors, and you get this kind of thing. We just can't have nice things. We get to a point where it's better, and then everybody takes advantage of it. And you're just all right, come on here. And I think that's probably where Sankey is. What are we doing here? We're really going to let guys go back and forth now to professional leagues? And the problem and the challenge, that's why this is a fascinating court case. I don't know where this lands. I don't know how this ends up. This isn't the same thing as a player playing for a school under the NCAA rules, right, and being compensated for it. There are still NCAA rules. There's still a governing body. And if the NCAA determines, that's not eligibility, But, the issue I see is they're losing the battles on transfers. And you'd think they'd be able to set those rules up too. But they're losing those court battles. So I don't know how this goes. But I will also tell you, like, if this goes the wrong way and we start to see this level of dysfunction, you're going to see lawmakers finally just wake up and be like, all right, fine. Like, we're going to have to do something here. Because that's not good for anybody. Like, him coming, I can't even believe these schools are willing to do this. Like, who's this good for? NATO.
That was the thing that they talked about, is that, like, this is like, that it's not illegal, but it's like teeter in the gray area real hard, or it's firmly in the gray area, honestly. And it's like, but if Nate Oates doesn't do it, like, who's to say that, Scott Drew won't? Scott Drew brought the guy from Baylor. If Scott Drew doesn't do it, who's to think that BYU won't? They brought a guy from the G League as well. They were the first ones to do it. Like, it's their job.
They're all desperate for wins. I mean, Jerome Tang, who has basically.
You don't think if Jerome Tang could add a player to make? Yes, 100%. Like, and it's such a bad situation. Like, it's literally challenging the integrity of college athletics. And then I think that part goes hand in hand with the extra eligibility stuff that's going on, which I want to talk about, by the way, with Melvin Council. That's a story now. But, like, why not just keep on suing? Like, if this is a profession now and everybody keeps calling it a professional league, like, who are you to tell me that I can't make a living? Like, there has to be, and that's
root
of it all.
That Sankey statement is really interesting.
Yes, and that's the thing that I've been talking about forever, is that what does all this mean for the 4-star 16-year-old right now that wants to go play quarterback in college? He's going to, by the time he's ready to graduate, there's not going to be any spots for him, because they're all filled by 25-year-olds that don't want to go be on a practice squad in the NFL.
Again, it's been taken too far. For a little while, the answer for that kid was, you can go to junior college, you can go to Division II, you can go to FCS, and then you can transfer in. It's different, but you eventually get to the same goal, right? But not if you're extending out eligibility for everybody. That's a problem, and that's where Sankey's coming from. Like, at some point, when you're done with college, you got to be done with college. Yes. And whether or not they're winning these court battles, they aren't yet. Like, they're losing a lot of them. And again, the NCAA's power in basketball is to just say, yep, you're not eligible to play in our tournament. Like, the court can't. I don't think the court can do anything about that. And because that's a punishment to the team. Like, okay, fine. You want to sign this guy from the G League? Great. You do whatever you want. You're not playing in the tournament. You're not eligible. Like, you don't get to come play in the tournament if you do that. And that's they're going to need to do that immediately. That needs to start, like, right this second, if they can hold it up. And I'm sure everybody's just sort of waiting on this particular case to see it. But at some point, if we all don't like if there's universal disdain for this, and again, you always got to kind of, who's benefiting the most when these things happen, right? But if everybody's in agreement, like, yeah, we can't do that. We have law, like, it doesn't make any sense to me why this is taking so long. Like, there are political footballs all over the place for politicians to jump on to try to get attention or whatever. We have nonstop coverage of where people can go to the bathroom. Like, we can't get somebody to come together and say, you know what? Everybody loves college sports. Nobody likes what's happening right now. Why don't we figure that out real quick? Like, where is the energy for that? And maybe an outrageous case like this is the energy that it needs. Because if it's not the transfer portal, if it's not Dabo Sweeney's, 10-minute tirade on how that all went down, like, if it's not any of that, it's going to have to be something. Lawmakers make laws. You're going to have to make a law.
It is, but, like, it's such a weird, and I've listened to so much stuff about this. It's such a weird thing because the NCAA, I think it's because it's, like, technically not like an LLC. That means that it isn't really a governing body in itself, and it's all state institution based, and that's why we're able to get all these regional courts that make decisions over or under the table or pull the rug out from the NCAA, I guess is the best way to put that. But you're right, like, that's the thing that they have the power to do. Like, do you think about the NFL? Like, no NFL players ever sue and say, like, this is crap. Well, I'm sure they do, but like, this is crap that you're not letting me do this. Like Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice gets suspended 6 games. Rashee Rice didn't go to the courts and sue the NFL because guess what the NFL can do? They're like, you don't have to play at all. We can just.
But it's different because those rules are set up and collectively bargained.
It's true. There's a collective bargaining agreement. That's the hard part of NCAA sports right now. But the one thing that they can do is decide who gets to play in the postseason that the NCAA owns and
the postseason, yes, but they're losing the general eligibility battles. That like they're losing those, and that's
they need to come out and just make a rule, and it's going to probably take lawmaker help.
It's got to be a law. I want to keep saying the NCAA just needs to say you can't do this anymore, but they lose every court battle. They like everyone, and they lose them all.
It needs to be I think it's more so. It needs to be a federal thing to come down, but to not let the regional courts decide this. Like that doesn't make any sense at all. And it never has.
I wish I was more knowledgeable on which courts take up which cases. I'm not, but what I can tell you is that the courts are following what they feel like is the law. Like
I know they are. It's not the court's fault, but it doesn't make any sense why it's
federal lawmakers must make the law.
Why are regional and state lawmakers deciding cases regarding a team that plays a national sport is the thing that I'm saying. Like that's the part that's always been just like, do you remember this all started with the West Virginia case 3 years ago. They got the dude from Montana State and they said they couldn't play because he didn't have a runoff waiver, I believe is what it was. And the West Virginia court said, actually, that's crap. You can play. And then it turned into, remember, it was like Bijan Cortez. And it was like, wait, Bijan Cortez can play now, can't he? Like, that's the thing. And it just doesn't make any, like, why is the West Virginia court saying that? Why are they the ones that make that decision? And I understand it's, courts are, the whole point is due process and the judicial system, but like, that needs to be a national thing. Like that affects more than West Virginia.
It does. Well, and you're trying to have them play with universal rules. That was, you go all the way back before anything changed. In the beginning conversations were like, or each state, when we were talking about compensation, each state's going to have different rules. So that puts the states that are more progressive with this in a huge advantage, the schools in those states. So then it was like, okay, well, we need some general rules federally on this. It's going to take that. And again, I don't want to say it's simple, but it's not that hard. You get everybody, you get the conference commissioners together, you sit in a room, you get a bipartisan committee. Washington loves committees. You get a bipartisan committee together. You put Tommy Tuberville, who's a former coach, in there with some people who are familiar with how, organized labor. You just get them all together. You sit them down and you say, all right, listen, everybody, I don't care what party, I don't care anything. We all love college football. Nobody in this room likes what we're seeing. What are some very simple guidelines we can put in place to keep this nonsense from happening? How many years of eligibility? Okay. How can that be extended? How can it not be extended? What is the situation with the transfer portal? Like, let's set these guidelines up because we are seeing now future athletes disadvantaged, right, to the college experience or to the college opportunity because other people are taking advantage of the system. That's why we make a law. People are taking advantage of the system. Let's make a law to prevent that from happening. I don't know if there's anybody out there other than these coaches who are doing this, bringing these players in who are just desperate for wins. I don't know that anybody supports this.
No, I don't think so either. I think that it's pretty across the board, except for the fans of the team and the coaches and the players probably. This was something interesting. I don't know if you saw this. Stephen Pearl, Bruce Pearl's son, head coach of Auburn, talked on his radio show or whenever it was. I don't know. I saw this out of context. But basically was talking about the Bediako situation and, the injunction that's about to happen. And he was like, it's such a wild situation. And he's like, the one thing that stinks about all this that nobody's talking about is what about Bediako? You know, like it sounds like the courts are going to strike it down. Like, and if Greg Sankey doesn't like it, then he's not going to get to play. Like that's where it all is looking like it's going to head. But like his point was like, what happens to Charles Bediako? Like that's the next big question, because this guy left the G League, came back, and then they're just going to pull the rug out from underneath him. Like that
he can go right back to the G League.
I know. I don't know that question. I don't know if that happens or not. Like if that's true or not.
If he doesn't go back to the G League, it's because he's not good enough to play in the G League. Like that's not anybody else's problem.
It's true. But like it I don't know. Like at that point, it's just kind of like, and I understand it's pretty spilled milk here, but like, did Alabama think about that part of it? Like they knew that this was
a thing. Nate Oates is trying to win a national championship. He does not care.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's just so many, wheels turning behind the scenes of this stuff.
But when there's universal agreement, it shouldn't be this hard. And there is universal agreement that some of these things shouldn't be the way that they are right now. This is a court case we're going to probably have to play out. But look, it is important that Greg Sankey is publicly not siding with Alabama on this. Like that's important because he is a power player. He is the power player in college athletics right now. He's in charge of the most powerful conference. We know their influence on football. I think that it's time for guys like him to step up and say this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, nope, we can't do it. Brett Yormark should step up to the Baylor situation and say, absolutely not. This is stupid. Like, we're not doing this. Like, why are we doing this?
I agree. It's just so many different, it's like just strayed from every aspect that people, and you push back on the other part of this, of the eligibility thing, of like your pro JUCO years and stuff like that. I know, but like I'm like, nobody likes every aspect of college sports that people like, whether it be the games haven't changed. The games are awesome.
Right.
But like and you're not into this part, but like the recruiting side of it, like high school recruiting is such a big thing. Like it'll die. Like it will literally go away unless you're a 5-star. Look at K-State basketball. They have 2 guys on their roster that came from high school because there's no point in doing it. And that's just a smaller level in basketball. Imagine in football. Like if this keeps going on, like would you rather have a 19-year-old offensive lineman or a 25-year-old? Like you know the answer to that question. And so it's terrifying for what's going to happen to that part of it. And then you just think about like it's a money-making business for 40 teams maybe, and then it's just going to turn into a giant pit for the other 300. Like that's what's terrifying. And then like it's already a sport that's split down the middle in FBS and FCS. If this keeps going on, there's going to be another split again. Like there's going to be the mega league that everybody's always talked about. And then at that point, it's like, why am I watching K-State football if they don't even have a chance to win a national championship?
I'm not discounting all the problems, and I don't want players to play forever. I do think playing in junior college I'm fine with that, not counting against your eligibility. But I also, the sky is not totally falling. It's always been more financially viable for a player to go play football at Alabama than it has for a player to go play football at Troy. That's still the case, right?
I know.
But a lot of it,
Troy
we're
has
just
to
looking at it. Well, let's continue it, and then we'll talk some Royals on the other side, too. We'll finish up the conversation. Don't go away. We'll get more Sports Daily coming right up.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive. Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $750 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $744 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2022 and May 2023. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
As a man, finding a truly great pair of pants can feel impossible. Some wrinkle the moment you sit down. Others look fine but don't travel well, don't move well, or completely lose their shape throughout the day. When you're flying, commuting, or packing light, most pants just aren't built for real life.
That's why there's Jack Archer. JackArcher.com makes the Jet Setter Tech Pant designed to be the one pair of pants you actually need. Comfortable enough for travel, polished enough for work, and versatile enough for wherever the day takes you. The Jet Setter Tech Pant is wrinkle-free, stain-resistant, and built for all-day comfort. With flexible stretch, customizable fit options, and thousands of 5-star reviews, these are the pants you'll reach for every day.
Jack Archer, ready when you are. For a limited time, get 15% off your first order using code GETJACK at jackarcher.com. Again, that's promo code GETJACK at jackarcher.com for 15% off your first order.
This is attorney Omid Azari from Azari Law. If you've been injured in an accident and feel like no one is fighting for you, it's time to fight back. Call Azari Law at 888-828-HURT. Just with one call, you can put a proven legal team on your side. Azari Law has been serving the DMV for over 15 years, proudly fighting for our local community. I was born and raised right here in the DMV, and my team is made up of experienced, reputable local attorneys dedicated to fighting for injury victims just like you. Follow us on all social platforms at azari.law. That's AZARI.LAW. Don't wait, don't settle. Fight back with Azari Law. With offices in Maryland, D.C., and Virginia, my team and I are ready to stand up for you. Call 888-828-HURT. That's 888-828-HURT. And let us fight back for you.
Presented by T-Mobile, the official wireless partner of Odyssey Sports. With an awesome network and great savings, there's never been a better time to join T-Mobile. Visit your neighborhood store to make the switch today.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.